Being that Butler's the only other ranked team, is it interesting that you're going into a new conference as kind of one of the top dogs in terms of rankings?
I think that's just evidence of Butler's had a terrific non-conference season. I think we've had a pretty good non-conference season. So both of our programs have received a certain level of attention. But all that means is that there's going to be a bullseye on our back, whether we're new to the league or not. People are going to want to beat us. And, I think rankings are for fans and for the media and not so much for players and coaches. When we take the floor, there'll be 5 of us on the court against 5 of the guys from Dayton. And, they have just as much of a right to win as we do. It's going to be a matter of which team plays best on that night.
Can you talk a little bit more about what pretty good non-conference season means and what do you feel like you guys have accomplished?
Sure. Yeah, I think we played 15 non-conference games, and our record's 12-3. Obviously, if we play 15 games, we want to win all 15. The Wichita State game at home really taught us a lot about the mindset that we need to bring to the court every game, whether we're favored or whether we beat a team last year or whether we're at home or on the road. And I think that was a valuable experience for our guys in a loss. And then from there, Duke and Missouri, I thought we did some good things in those games, particularly Missouri. We did some really good things, but just didn't have the discipline down the stretch. The Duke game, we didn't make the free throws we needed to make. So those stung and hurt, but again, we learned something from those games, and we've been able to win pretty handily since then, other than the Lehigh game. But I think the Lehigh game was terrific for us going into league play because we hadn't been in a close game in a long time. We were able to win the game, but also learn a valuable lesson about making free throws, about defensive discipline. And there's going to be nights where you don't shoot it well. And Saturday was certainly one of those nights. Hopefully we'll shoot it better as we get going with conference play here.
From Dayton, coming in, what kind of team are they? What's their style of play?
Well, they have a very good team. Archie Miller does a terrific job. He's in his second year as a head coach there, and they did some great things last year, and he's put together, again, a dangerous team this year. They're led by Kevin Dillard, who is perhaps the best player in the league. He's a terrific point guard, and he's their do-it-all guard. They've got some other great players, but he definitely is their head. And, from there, they've got a guard named V. Sanford that we played against a couple years ago, played at Georgetown, transferred to Dayton, and he's really shooting the ball well and scoring the ball well. Those 2 guys are just as good as any backcourt we've seen all year. So it starts with them. We got to do a good job defending those guys. Dayton will push the ball. They'll try to get the ball down the floor quickly. They'll try to attack our pressure, not by backing it out, but by going to the rim and attacking us. So we got to do a good job transitioning from offense to defense. And then they can be a very good defensive team at times. They really play great position defense, great help defense. They do a good job switching certain screens. So we're going to need to execute with crispness and with good speed, and then do a good job finishing at the rim.
An effort of you and the coaching staff put into preparing for the A10 teams as a whole coming into this stretch, and what's your view on the league right now going into conference play?
We did a lot in the offseason preparing for the A10 as a whole. We broke the teams up, and we did some, I guess for lack of a better word, scouting reports in June, July, August on each team just to familiarize ourselves with each of the opponents. But now that we're in the season, we're doing the real scouting reports based on their games this year and their personnel this year. I think that, obviously we're going into a league where we don't know the other team as well as we did when we were in the CAA, but it works both ways. They don't know us as well. They haven't played against us in the past. So it'll be interesting because it's such a big league in terms of the number of teams. You only play one team twice. That's Richmond, and they do know us, and we do know them. But other than that, we're facing a lot of teams one time, and then a team like Dayton, we either won't play them again all year long, or the next time we play them after Wednesday will be the middle of March. So it should be interesting from that standpoint. In terms of the A-10, I think it's a terrific league, one of the deepest in the country, maybe behind the Big Ten, maybe the second deepest team. Deepest league in the country. I mean, there's literally 7, 8, 9, 10 teams that legitimately could contend for the league and have a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. So we got to be ready to play every night.
Is this even better than you expected it was going to be?
No, that's about what I expected. I think I really thought that there would be this type of depth going into the year. There's some teams that are even better than I thought, or even better than I knew, just now that I've gotten a chance to watch them live. A team like Temple, watching them last night against Kansas, they looked terrific. I mean, they outplayed Kansas for the majority of that game, and they had no fear whatsoever of that atmosphere. They've got seniors. They've got a very experienced team and a great coach. So that's one example of a team that really surprised me. But I'm not I'm not surprised at all overall at how good the league is. It's a terrific league.
And how about your own team? Are you surprised at how you guys are playing, or is it?
No, I'm never surprised. I mean, I always, like I said, I expect for us to win every time we take the floor. So I guess if we lose, I'm surprised. But there's ups and downs in the season, and the biggest thing that we emphasize is gradual progress. I think we have made progress. You're not always going to blow people out by 30 points, but you want to get better from game to game and from week to week. I think overall we've done that.
Talk about the growth of the team. Is that how you measure yourself as you grow as a coach, or do you set certain coaching goals? Like, you want to go to the Sweet 16 with the team, but what kind of goals do you set for yourself as a coach?
Just to get better. I mean, I want to get better, but the growth as a coach doesn't always equate with the growth as a team. You would love it to, but it just doesn't work that way. The best coaches don't always win. The coach with the team that's playing the best on that certain given night, is a team that's going to win. So I think a lot is made in the media of coaching matchups and is this coach is better than that coach. The reality is at this level, everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody works extremely hard. A guy like me, I'm still very young, so my emphasis has to be on getting better. There's certain things I go into the year trying to get better at. I'm always going to work hard. Our staff's always going to work hard. Am I a better coach now than I was 2-3 years ago? I would say I am, but I'm probably biased. You gain a level of wisdom with each year, and hopefully you have even a better feel for your team because you've been around them longer. So just trying to get these guys to continue moving forward on and off the court. So I feel good about that, but far from over.
Can you point out one specific thing that you do better now than you did, not even your first year, but maybe your second year here?
Well, let's see. I would say in the game, in-game adjustments, that's always a transition for young coaches. When you first start coaching, the game comes at you pretty fast. And, you used to being an assistant coach where you make a lot of suggestions, and in your head, all the suggestions are going to work. But now in your head coach, and certain things don't go the way that you envision them going, you've got to find a way to make quick adjustments during the game. So I think I've probably made some progress at that, but it also has a lot to do with I've got a better relationship with Darius Theus and Troy Daniels and Breonte Weber and Travion Graham and so on than I did with anyone on the team the first year. So it's easier to coach guys when you're on the same page with them and they're on the same page with you. So it's a matter of growing together, all of us growing together. I definitely have more of a even keel than I did when I first got here. It's easy to get really low after losses and high after wins, or low after a bad practice and high after a good practice. But the reality is there's going to be an ebb and flow with the season. You've got to do your best regardless and understand that some things are out of your control and just focus 100% of your energy on the stuff that you do control.